Hi again everyone, it's Becky here from Ivy's Corner and I'm here today to help you construct the string for Project Pack 26 and day number 6. So if you followed my previous videos, you will know that I have previously completed Project Pack 26 and I don't have the official Project Pack from Zentangle HQ. Now you can purchase the official Project Pack from Zentangle HQ via their website. I'm going to put a little link in the description below to show you where to do that. Unfortunately, it's not always possible to get hold of project packs, particularly if you don't live in the USA. Sometimes it's quite expensive and tricky to get hold of project packs and equipment from Zentangle HQ. So I thought, I myself didn't complete the project pack with the project pack itself, if that makes sense. I just followed the videos with equipment that I had at home already. And I myself didn't have that project pack, so I had to create the strings for this particular project pack myself. And so this video, following a couple of comments and some suggestions on videos, I posted time-lapse videos of myself drawing Project Pack 26 tiles, and people were asking how I'd completed the strings first and how I went about doing that. So I thought I would put these quick videos together to show you how I went about drawing the strings. Now, particularly with Project Pack 26, the strings are completely part of the whole thing. Like, this particular project pack is all about strings with Zentangle, and how you use them and how you can kind of adapt them and how you can take inspiration for them and the elegance of limits that they give you when you're creating your Zentangle art. And so I am going to show you how to create these strings because it's such a kind of a key part of this particular project pack. I thought I would just give some guidance on how I went ahead and created the strings myself. So let's hop over to my desk camera and I will show you what I did. So here I have my Ivy's Corner free tile divider. Now this is a document that's available for free on my website. You can download it completely free. I'll pop a link in the description so you can see where to get it. But it's a really handy tool if you ever need to divide up a tile, or to give yourself kind of some baselines of how to go about constructing a string if it ever needs to be kind of a bit more like not random, basically, if it needs to be kind of divided up in a specific way. So you can divide up tiles of all sizes from bijou up to the 5x5 tile, and it will just give you a little bit of guidance on how to construct those strings so that the sort of spaces are roughly equal. So I'm going to go ahead and move up to my Zendala divider here, and I'm going to place my tile in the centre and just line it up with this central tile space here. And you'll see there's lots of different lines around the outside that are going to help us to kind of work out where the divisions should go. So I've got my Zentangle pencil here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide my space up into 4 sections initially. So day number 6 of the Zentangle project pack is a lesson from Julie, and she used these really fun kind of looping circles, and so I'm going to show you how I went about creating that particular tile. So I'm going to go ahead and just divide my tile into 4. So I'm going to use, you could use the numbers well, you can use the numbers all around the outside, but I'm going to just go with this one at the top here and then the opposite, and then come around to a quarter, mark out this one and here. Now this particular tile, this string, has 4 large looping circles, and so initially I only drew 4 points on my tile, but I actually found that whilst doing the tile it was useful to have 8 circles marked out, so 8 points marked out. So I'm going to draw a little mark just in between these lines as well to divide my tile into 8 here. So we've got 8 marks around here. Now I'm going to take this tile divider away and I'm going to zoom in slightly for you and refocus my camera. There we go. So it's nice focused for you. So here is my my tile. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw in a border because the tile, the string that's used in this particular tile has a border. So I'll draw that in. Now again, this is going to be fairly rough, as with all of my string construction. I'm not using rulers, I'm not using a compass. I'm kind of just doing it freehand with the guidelines of the tile divider. And I think that kind of is a little bit more in line with the kind of Zentangle philosophy of no mistakes and just taking things as they come. looping around so we have this lovely border. It's not perfect, but I'm not concerned. So I'm going to join up these lines here. So I'm lining up my micron, because I'm not using a ruler, I'm just using a micron or any straight kind of straight line to help me roughly work out. So I'm lining up with the opposite lines here, and I'm going to just put a little mark in the centre alongside that micron to help me work out where my centre point of the tile is going to be. And that is there. And so when it comes to this particular tile, what I'm going to do is initially draw or roughly like mark out a large circle from this central point touching the top here. So beginning here and then coming around to the top here and then coming back down again. Now this does not have to be perfect in any sense. And you'll see here that I've kind of added this extra point as a rough guide of how far I want my circle to come out. And what eventually should happen is that the other circle, when I come to draw its overlapping one, will kind of cross in line with this line. I'm just using the heel of my hand to help create this curve and just sketching it fairly roughly. And it kind of comes out not too bad. It's a bit scruffy, but you can go over it. You can kind of keep going around and just sculpt that line so it suits what you're after. I've got my precision eraser here just to help me tidy up these string lines, because there's going to be so much stuff going on. I want to focus on where I want my string line to be. And obviously the eraser isn't really part of the Zentangle toolkit, but it's just useful when constructing these strings. We will be needing it again in a second. Now, because I'm going to have my 4 overlapping circles, I'm going to start from the centre and come out again, but I want to skip this line, so I want to ignore this line at this point and then draw my second circle kind of on a right angle to this one. So the next one's going to be going to this point of the tile. And I'm going to just sweep it out as before, and you'll see that eventually your circle should cross roughly in line with this other line in the middle here. So just sweeping round. And bringing that line back round to give you a sort of orb shape. So it's not a perfect circle, just this orb shape. There we go. So that's my second circle. Now my next one is going to be coming from the centre point out to this one here. So it's skipping this one and coming round to this next one along here. And you can see how it's kind of creating these petal shapes. As we overlap the circles. So I started coming out from the bottom here, and then I kind of swept it around from the top to kind of help me get that curve. Creating these curved lines. Like so. And then finally, this last one is going to come from the centre point out here, intersecting, touching that top section there with the border, and then back round. Now I'm going to just revisit all of these and see if I'm happy with the shapes that I've created. Because there's absolutely no harm in going back in to adjust things. Now I think this final circle just needs a little bit more adapting around here. And then I'm going to take my precision eraser and just tidy things up slightly. So I'm happy with those orb shapes and how they're sitting. There we go. This one just needs a bit of finalising. There we go. Okay, so there's my 4 orb shapes. And before I do anything else, I want to just kind of roughly mark where kind of this line and this line kind of roughly come. So just adding a little dot in here where these 2 lines, if you were drawing a line between this point and this point, roughly where it would go. And the next thing to do is to draw a secondary orb within our first large orb, which is going to loop around and kind of touch this line instead of up here. So starting at the centre again, we're going to draw a smaller orb, which curves around and creates a smaller circle within our first large one. These are all going to overlap. And you'll see the value in kind of sketching things out a little, not being worried about, your lines are never going to be perfect the first time. So just metering them out initially lightly with pencil, and then going back in, using the lines you've already drawn as a bit more of a guideline of where you want to go next. So we're going to have 4 larger circles and then 4 smaller circles. And then the last one. There. So you can see now that we have these 4 large circles and 4 smaller circles. And what I'm going to do now is just use my precision eraser to take away some of these lines, because not all of them are part of the string. So the string from Julie's lesson is similar, not dissimilar to the day 1 lesson that she recorded, to be honest with you. That one had 4 kind of looping circles, and these ones are a bit chunkier. I sort of called them croissant shapes before. And these circles overlap on the left-hand side. So the left-hand side of this circle, if you think of it as being a band coming around like this, the left-hand side of the circle is the one that's above the rest of them. So I'm going to choose my first large orb and then just erase the lines on the left-hand side of it within the space between the outer circle line and the inner circle line. I'm going to turn my tile and do the same thing on the one next to it. So just erase those inside lines. Turn my tile, the lines that are there on the left-hand side of the circle are going to disappear. And finally, on this 4th one, just removing these lines and leaving us with 4 intersecting, overlapping loops that are chunky sort of loops. And that is the main basis of the string. Just for a final tidying up point, I'm going to go through and just remove these outer lines like so. And there we have it. That is your string for day number 6 of Project Pack 26. I hope you found this helpful. I cannot wait to see what you will create with it. I'm certainly excited to have another try at filling this string with something exciting. You can tag me on Instagram, on other social media. Please do feel free to show me what you've created. I would absolutely love to see. You can use the hashtag Ivy's Corner as well. Please like and subscribe this video if you found it helpful. I'm always posting different videos on my YouTube channel to do with Zentangle, and if there's anything that you ever feel like you'd like to know or learn more about, then just hit me with a DM or drop something in the comments and I will reply to you, and I would love to help you with more Zentangle related things. You don't forget to get your free tile divider from my website, sign up to my mailing list, and I will let you know what's going on in the world of Zentangle. But I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I can't wait to see what you create. Take care, and I'll see you next time.